Have you ever wondered if those magic kitchen regrowing tricks really work? Me too. Let's find it out together. For the veggies that I would like to test for regrowing, I use celery, lettuce, scallions, and carrots. We start cutting the vegetables, except for the carrots, so that we only keep the parts with the roots. For the carrots, we just keep the top part where the leaves grow from, since the carrot itself is basically the root. Besides those veggies, different ones like beetroot, any kind of lettuce, any kind of onions, pak choi, or even ginger or garlic could work too. Once we have cut our vegetables, we take a large bowl and place everything in it so that the roots are facing downwards. Then just fill the bowl with a bit of water and make sure to not let it dry out within the next days. To see the progress, I filmed everything as a time lapse. Let's see how the experiment goes. All the veggies immediately start to show new growth. The whitish parts of the plants start to turn green to be able to do photosynthesis. Since the plants grew quickly, I transplanted them all into humus-rich soil with lots of nutrients to support the growth. All the plants are shooting up nicely. Unfortunately, I planted all the plants in a pot that was too small for so many plants, so that I could film everything in time-lapse. As the carrots in particular grow quickly, the lettuce and celery get relatively little light and grow more slowly. After 45 days, I was curious if the plants just regrew some leaves or were also able to regrow roots. I decided to pull all the veggies out of the soil to check on them and transplant them outdoors. All of the plants had quite some root growth and therefore can be regrown, as you can see. Even the carrots started to grow, but could have needed some more time. Overall, I am quite happy with how the regrowing experiment turned out, and I am quite convinced that a lot of kitchen scraps can simply be used for regrowing. Did you know that you can easily grow your own peach or nectarine tree from store-bought fruits? Let me show you how to grow your own trees from seeds. If you don't already have a bunch of seeds from your fruits, you can just grab some at the store and cut the fruit like I do to get the seed of the nectarine. By cutting the fruit into quarters, it's usually quite easy to get the wooden seed. The actual seed is inside this wooden shell. To speed up the germination, we have to remove the wooden shell. You can just remove the seed by using some magic and smashing it into pieces. Or you do it like I did before the scene and just cut off the wooden shell step by step using a side cutter. Make sure to be careful to not hurt yourself or the seed inside. The seed is quite soft compared to the wooden shell and gets damaged easily. This method works not only for nectarines but for any kind of peach you like. I decided to grow some donut peaches as well. The next important step is cold stratification. This is a process used to simulate natural winter conditions for certain seeds, including peach seeds, to break their dormancy and promote germination. You can either plant the seeds directly outdoors in fall or winter, or you wrap the seeds in some wet paper towel. Additionally, you should put the paper towel in a plastic container or sealed plastic bag to keep the humidity high. Then just place the sealed container or bag in the refrigerator. The ideal temperature for cold stratification is around 1 to 5 degrees Celsius. The germination process usually takes around 8 weeks, so check on the seeds from time to time. Once it has germinated, you can plant it into soil. For planting peach seeds, use a well-draining, fertile soil mix with a pH between 6.0 and 6.5. Ensure good drainage to prevent waterlogging and avoid compacted soil to support the development of healthy peach trees. Let me now show you how the seeds grow in one of my time-lapse projects. Once it's getting warmer outside, you can plant the tree outdoors. Or if you like the look of the plant, you can also just repot it and keep it as a houseplant. Did you know that broccoli is one of the easiest plants to grow at home? If you are a broccoli fan like me, let me show you how to grow your own plant. It all starts with the seeds, which you can buy in any garden store. Besides this, you need some high nutrients, well-draining soil, and a big pot to make sure your plant has enough space to grow. Since broccoli is a dark germinator, you can just dig a very little hole up to 1 centimeter and bury the seed inside. After that, make sure to properly water. Usually, it just takes 3 to 5 days for broccoli to germinate, and therefore you will see the seedling pretty fast. Once the plant started to grow, it really speeds up the growing process. After about 4 weeks, you can start to use high nitrogen fertilizer. I'd like to use it almost every week if you have enough sun or plant lamps. Otherwise, I would just use it every 2 weeks. Besides using a big pot from the start, you can also go for smaller pots and replant the plants after a while. Or you can plant the seeds directly in your garden if you want to grow them outdoors. If you have several plants, make sure to keep at least a distance of 60 centimeters between the plants, since they grow really big, as we also can see in the time lapse. Besides the usage of fertilizer, you should make sure to provide the plant enough water. I'd like to water my plants whenever the upper soil starts to get dry. If you like the tutorial and would like to see more, it would be amazing to leave a comment or like to help me out. If you are looking for a specific tutorial, just drop it in the comment and I will see how I can help. Once the plant has grown a decent size, it starts to grow the broccoli flower. If the growth of the flower starts to slow down and it has a nice green color, it is ready to harvest. At this stage, it should have tightly packed buds. Do you want to grow your own avocado bonsai like this one? Let me show you how I did it. Since we are starting from seed, it's time to eat an avocado and get the seed inside. Once you have the seed, you can gently peel the skin off to speed up the germination. Besides avocado, you could use any tree like oaks or chestnuts. Just make sure to check if you need cold stratification or not. Put the seeds into a wet paper towel and seal them inside a plastic bag to keep the humidity high. If cold stratification is needed, you can put the sealed bag in the fridge for some weeks. For our avocado bonsai, we put the seed in a warm place since avocados like it warm and humid. After 45 days, the seed cracked open and started to grow a root. Since I wanted to film the progress in time-lapse, I already took it out. Once I put the seed in water, the roots started to grow quickly. Roughly 1 month after putting the avocado in water, the first stem started to grow, as you can see. When the stem reached a length of round about 15 centimeters, I decided to plant the tree onto a stone to create a little bonsai. To make the root lie nicer around the stone, I shaped the stone. Let me show you how I did it with this chestnut tree. First, you have to find the position where you want the tree to be. A little tip here, put the plant and root in water. That will help you to see where the root touches the stone, and therefore the parts that need to be removed. Place a wet cloth under the stone to reduce slipping. Then just simply use an old screwdriver and a hammer to remove parts of the stone. Repeat the step several times until you are happy with the root on the stone. Not every piece has to fit perfectly on the stone, but it should fit roughly. As soon as you can place the root in the right position around the stone, it's time for the next step. For this, I can recommend you to use keto clay. It helps keep the roots wet during the first days. And besides this, it's a great way to bring the roots into the final shape on the stone. The keto clay is very sticky and can be used to gently push the roots against the stone. Keep in mind there that the end of the roots should be close to the soil once you put the stone into the soil. As you can see, it's really easy to bring everything in shape with the keto clay. Let's head back to our avocado project to see how I did it there. After I shaped my stone as shown before I continued for the time lapse, I took the plant out of the water, put some additional glue on the stone, and placed the avocado tree on how I liked it. I used some keto clay to support the roots, and additionally, I used some moss from my garden to cover the soil. Within the first few days, I made sure to spray the roots with water. As soon as the plant started to show some growth again, I decided to shape the stem for my bonsai project. After some time, I wanted to get the plant to produce new shoots, so I cut the top of the plant. After some weeks, the plant showed new growth. The initial moss idea did not really turn out as I wanted to, so I decided to remove the unwanted plants, cover it with a new layer of soil, and sow some moss seeds. I watered regularly, and already after some days, some moss started to grow. After further growing, my little avocado bonsai together with the moss turned out to a beautiful combination. The avocado plant grew wonderful new leaves and the moss completely covered the soil. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and consider subscribing for more.